Welcome to You Make the Difference. I'm Wanda Scarborough, and I have as my guest today Charles Wardlaw. Charles is a retired executive, and he does volunteer work in the community. He has a jail ministry with his wife, Nancy, and he also is on the board for Accountability Troop, which is over the accountability courts. And you might see Charles at Hope Harbor or just lots of different places, and he has developed a teaching about our life and the things that happen in our life that cause bruises and hurt places. And it's been very effective as he shared it in the jail situation to the ladies there that are in the jail. I've had a couple write me from prison to tell me how much those teachings meant to them. And then as I go in and do ministry on Tuesday mornings, I will have ladies mention the chips. And so Charles is going to share that with you today, and I just want you to know that Charles is looking for opportunities to share this with different audiences. So if you are somebody that's watching and has a place where Charles might share this, we're going to put Charles's email up on the screen so you'll be able to contact him.
Good.
Welcome, Charles, and how did you get started with this?
Well, you know, Wanda, it's an interesting question. If you'd asked me several years ago why I'd be involved in this, I grew up around men and machine all my life, been in the printing business. And to say at this point in my time I would be deeply involved in a women's jail ministry is almost beyond what people would normally think about.
Yes.
And I sort of found this by default because Nancy, my wife, had been doing this with several people for years. And a lot of times we'd talk on a Sunday evening before she went over there Monday morning about, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? And I'd give her some idea.
Yes.
Okay? And then one of the ladies she was going with decided to do other things, so she was doing it alone, and she was struggling with it. I was giving her ideas, and I said, well, I'll just go with you one day.
That's great.
Okay? And a couple of days before I went up there, a little bit hard to define this part of it, but I had a thought, a dream, a vision, describe it as you will. Okay, that something occurred to me. And so, darn, you know, that might explain things to people. Okay, you said that it was a teaching, and I tell those people in the jail that I'm not here to preach to you.
Yes.
I'm not really here to teach you.
Yes.
I'm not here to condemn you, or to blame you, or to shame you. I'm here for one reason, and one reason only. That's to get you to think about yourself, the situation that you're in, how you got there, and even better, what you can do about it. And this little program has proved to be, I don't know, beyond my expectations as far as applications and benefit to people's life. It's quite frankly astonished me. Okay?
Yes.
And I keep maturing it, I keep polishing it, and I keep growing it so that it is becoming its own dynamic. I write little things to approach to it. My fundamental goal is to get people to think about their beliefs, which is the core issue that I'm driving toward. And I take many directions to get there, okay, many roads to get there, but I always wind up at the same spot because it is the core issue in people's lives, is their beliefs. And few people really think about their beliefs. It governs them. Their beliefs govern them. Everything that they do, it governs the decisions they make. It governs the choices. It governs the clothes you're going to wear. It governs your opinion of yourself, your opinion of others. And so part of the puzzle in that thing is we've heard the word belief all of our life, but the question really becomes, if you think about it, is how did I get these beliefs?
Yes.
Where do they come from?
Yeah.
What's the origin? What's the purpose? Where is it going? Or is it going? And you know, if you start thinking about these questions, and you come across some astonishing thoughts in using people. I have said the term a couple of times to people, actually in Sunday school class, we were discussing, I said, well, you might be a prisoner of your beliefs. A prisoner of your beliefs.
Yes.
That just sort of came to me.
Well,
and the guy stood up, he bowed up at me, he said, well, I'm not a prisoner of my beliefs. I said, sir, by that very comment, you are a prisoner of your beliefs.
Huh.
You're narrow-minded. You're not wide-focused. You're not taking in things that can be taken in to help understand what's going on. Call it dogmatism. Call it anything you want to, okay? But people get locked into a belief pattern, and it really governs them. Different people have different appetites for this, to use the word. They're interested in more things or more input. And some people, are very static. They don't want things to change, and they don't want to explore new ideas or new thoughts.
Yes.
And they're very comfortable in their zone. And I'm not here to challenge that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes you might not even know what you believe.
That is correct.
You are acting on things that you really don't even understand
That
what
is
that
entirely
belief
correct, Wanda.
is behind your actions.
That is correct.
Yes.
And it's a mystery to people.
Yes.
And that's what I
Why
try
not act
to.
that way?
Yeah, that's what I try to explore.
Yes.
Okay. And this little program, called it CHIPS, that's sort of the name of it, I guess, came to me in a dream one day, and I says, well, that's a way to get people to understand this very graphically and very simply, because it's not really that complex.
So God thought.
Okay, I'll accept that.
Yeah,
okay?
I know.
Because I don't know the origin of it, okay? And I truly welcome that,
Yes.
okay? Because I don't have those particular skills and talents. I'm a mechanic, I'm a machine guy,
Yeah.
machine, I'm on a printing business, okay? And to have these kind of thoughts is almost alien to the kind of thinking. But it's interesting because in a man and machine kind of environment, everything has a cause and effect, a source, a reason for, a causation. And I'm sort of applying that same thinking here, because acting out your beliefs is a causation
Yes.
of what you believe. It's the same kind of functional thing. So I've tried to take it down to an element that's easily understandable.
Yes.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Easily understandable.
Let's see it.
Okay. I learned something in business a couple of decades ago now, maybe, that the secret to communication is to seek to be understood,
Yes.
but I must also seek to understand.
Yes.
Okay. And sometimes that's a difficult thing because words are limited in what you can convey.
Right.
Okay. Your body language, your eyes, your tone of voice, the ambiance that they convey is about as much as the words do. And a lot of us aren't using the same dictionary when we use words. So it becomes difficult, and words are the best medium we have outside visions and thoughts and pictures to convey thoughts and messages to people. And I think that's what I'm trying to do in this, is to convey a thought to them that they can be in control of their beliefs. They can take charge.
Yes.
They can change that. Because we know we're born with free will. Few people exercise it. Very few people exercise it. That's what I mean when I say a prisoner of your beliefs.
Yes.
You're locked in. You could say you're limited, or your scope is narrow, or you don't have to use the word prisoner, but it's an effective word that gets
Yes.
people's attention.
Yes.
So.
Well, will you demonstrate it for us?
Well, sure I will, and I would like to. I'm going to lead up to it just a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Because I got a little piece of paper right here that talks about choices. We all make choices, and we're all the result of our choices, whether we like it or not.
Yes.
Good choices, bad choices. We all make good choices and bad choices, okay? And so what governs your choice, if you think about it, actually your beliefs are still governing your choices. Okay, there's that word again, that word, believe. So if beliefs are driving your choices and you're not happy with your choices, the next thing that needs to happen is to realize there is probably something that you want that you don't have.
Yes.
Okay? Well, I'll tell you how to get it.
Okay.
Would you like to know?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. All right, the way to get something that you've never had is to do something you've never done.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
you've heard that nonsense before. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results.
That's right.
Okay. But that's not all there is to it. The only way that you can do something that you've never done is to change your beliefs.
Huh.
You see?
Yeah.
How important that word is?
Yeah.
If you want to embark on something that's really alien to you, why do you have to change your beliefs?
That's
and to believe
right.
that you can do it, that you're capable of doing it, that
Yeah.
you're going to be given the power to do this, okay?
Or at
Where
least be
before-
willing to try it, right?
At least be willing to try it.
Yeah.
If you don't try, you're not going to get anywhere. Okay?
Yeah.
So this word belief becomes the critical element in what is governing us and what makes you you. I use another quick illustration, and I say, when you were born, what were you? Well, I'm a gift, I'm love, I'm beauty, I'm a blessing. And I said, well, you're an infant, okay? But outside your God-given skills and talents, you were an empty vessel. You knew nothing. You could do nothing. You didn't have any capabilities. You didn't have any knowledge. You didn't have anything. You could eat and excrete, and that was it.
Yep.
Okay, and that was it. And so, in the jail ministry, I say to these women, well, what happened? What went in your vessel between diapers and stripes?
Yes.
Something went wrong. Something's not correct, because everybody don't wind up like that.
That's right.
Okay, but this is an attempt by the jail people there to get them to understand their situation, but it's applicable to a lot of people.
That's right.
So what I do, I have brought this program up, and I actually use poker chips, plain everyday poker chips, to illustrate what I'm talking about. The reason people use poker chips is because you can change the value of them pretty
Yes.
easily. Nickel, dime, quarter, dollar, dollar, 5, 10, anything you want them to be. It's not important. Today, for this discussion and this purpose, we're going to use spiritual and emotional values for these chips.
Yes.
And follow me, because this will be true to everybody. This first one, the white chip, we will call this good. We will call this beautiful. We will call this love, tenderness, mercy, kindness, forgiveness, self-forgiveness. Let's call it grace. Let's call it God. Use your own definition. But it exists. It exists in all of us. And
Yes.
we know this, okay? It's a spiritual, psychological component of our life. Now let's take this next chip, the blue chip, okay? And it's analogous to a bruise, okay? You know what a bruise is. Somebody hits you, they hurt
Yes.
you, leaves a mark, leaves a place, it's ugly, it's painful, and it's sore. And you
Yeah.
remember it, and you don't want to do it again because you don't want to repeat that problem. An emotional or spiritual abuse. Somebody says something ugly, unkind, hurtful, okay? It happens to all of us. We've all got them. Life is that way, it's inevitable, okay? Take this other one, the red one. That represents blood, an injury,
Yes.
a deep wound, requires a lot of attention, may need a lot of treatment, may leave a scar,
Yeah.
an emotional
Yes.
scar, okay? May leave you permanently injured, may make you spiritually, emotionally blind, or disable you, or leave you an emotional cripple. These things happen to us. We've all got them.
Yes.
In your life, in my life
Yes.
too. Okay. This one, on the other hand, I call doom. It is everything the white chip is not. It is hate, bitterness, anger, revenge, unforgiveness, unself-forgiveness, self-abuse, abused, hate, bitter, anger, all these things, okay? Call it evil. Call it Lucifer, call it Satan, call it the devil,
Yeah.
if you will, okay? Use your analogy, but we all know these things exist, the good and the bad. And they have a source. They come from somewhere. They aren't just nothing.
That's right.
This has a source. It is evil, and it exists. We see it every day in our lives. There's no getting away from it. It's part of the secular world that we live in, okay? This has an origin, spiritual origin. It's grace, it's God, okay? The two are opposed.
Yes.
It's the spiritual battle, if you will, okay? So here's what happens in life, okay? So let's back up. Now that we've defined these things, let's put together the puzzle,
Okay.
okay? And so when life begins, you're born. Everything's cool. Everything's looked after.
That's
All
right.
your needs are met. You're loved, you're nourished, you're warm, you're fed, you're changed, you're clean, okay? And that goes on for a while. But let's suppose for a moment that things weren't just right in the family.
Yes.
Maybe there was ugliness in the family, hate, bitterness, abuse, too many kids and so forth. Maybe mommy or daddy wasn't there when they were needed.
Yeah.
Okay?
Maybe they fuss.
Yeah,
And it's just the environment doesn't
Yeah.
feel safe.
that's correct. Okay. Thank goodness for grandma. She did the best she could, but she
Yeah.
was limited. But things go on. Maybe you didn't live in the best neighborhood. Okay. Maybe there was poverty. Okay. Maybe there was mistreatment. Maybe you didn't have good friends. Maybe you lived in a bad neighborhood. Maybe you didn't get a good education. Okay. Now this is a generalization.
Yes.
Everybody has to build their own stack
Right.
from these elements, and everybody's stack will be different. Yours is different than mine.
Yeah.
So this is an illustration, okay? So what happens along about 12 or 13, or 10 maybe, just depending, This guy shows up in the form of temptation. Oh, that's when the trouble starts. That's when the trouble really starts, because it usually doesn't get better after that. Now, mind you, I'm talking mostly people that are in distress.
Yes.
Okay? Not the use and the eye of the world, but it still has application.
Yes.
Okay, if we use it. And so after temptation shows up, it doesn't get any better, typically speaking. So things go on. Temptation leads to more temptation, leads to problems, leads to issues. Thank goodness Grandma was there. She did the best she could, and I had a good boyfriend there for a while. It lasted, but they wound up double-crossing me and so forth. And things just went on. It wasn't too good, and I'm making a mess, so forgive me.
Well, sometimes our life gets in a mess.
It is a mess.
Yeah,
Okay.
and things are slung at us. You know,
And then I tell the girls in jail, and I says, then you wind up here. Okay. And I says, this is your stack. This is your beliefs.
Oh, yeah.
This is your beliefs. That's what went in your vessel from the time you were born till this day. Okay. It comes from everywhere. It comes from the world. It comes from everything that you see in the world. Every experience that you had, movies you've seen, TV shows, magazines, people saying, gossip, all this. It comes from there.
Yeah, I'm not enough.
Yeah, it's a constant
just different
barrage.
things, yeah.
Constant barrage. You can't escape it, okay? And so here we sit, okay? So the question becomes, now what? Okay, you painted a pretty bleak picture, okay? I'm not happy with it. I don't like it. I feel bad about it. And I don't like you knowing that about me. But it's still the truth.
Yeah.
It's still the truth, okay? Here is a key point. Pay close attention, anybody that's watching. Let's go back to this temptation, okay? Because before this thing came up, all this was not your fault. You had no choice. You didn't exercise free will in that. It was imposed upon you.
Yeah.
By your environment.
Yes.
By your social standing, by your social makeup, by your race, by your skin color, by a lot of attributes that happened to you, okay? But you didn't have a choice. Imposed upon you. You got to get that. Because that creates the fundamental basis from which future decisions are made, you see. And so no wonder the subsequent decisions weren't good,
Right.
okay? You had no basis on which to know better.
Yes.
Nobody taught you better. Nobody gave you the tools. You didn't experience the things that you need in your life to grow properly. And of course, some people have a lot of white in their stack, okay? Some people have a lot of dark in their stack early on, a lot of white in their stack later on.
Yes.
Because something happens. Something happens.
A trauma.
Something happens. Well, here's, I think, what happens. This is the point that people have to change. This is where free will comes in. This is where taking control comes in. It's called born again.
Yes.
That changes things.
It
The
does.
spiritual, religious, God-based born again, or the realization that you have free will and have a choice in what you choose to do. Okay. Now get this, born again. Remember what I said about being born? An empty vessel?
Yes.
Okay. Starting over. We're doing this again.
Yes.
We're going to start with an empty vessel and we're going to go again. Now you can control what goes in that vessel. Reject these things. You don't want them.
That's
they come
right.
across, reject them. Okay? Do this. Okay? The Bible is called turn the other cheek.
Yes.
There's a lot of analogies to use this thing, but you are now governing, controlling your beliefs. You're formulating new beliefs, positive beliefs, productive beliefs, beneficial beliefs.
Yes.
And you can't keep it unless you give it away. That's part of the trick.
Yes.
See, that's what Wanda does. Okay? She can't keep her faith and her belief unless she gives it away. That's
Yes.
why she does what she does.
Yes.
Okay?
And that's what you're doing. What you're doing.
Well, in a respect, yeah,
Yes.
in a way.
Yes.
In a way that we do that. But this is the truism that people need to grab. You can control your life, okay? I'm going to give you another example. Wanda, I'm going to pretend you're Patsy in the jail, okay?
Okay.
And this is an audience sitting in the jail, and I'm going to say, Patsy, I'd like to give you a white chip.
Okay.
I really think you're a nice person deep inside. You're sensitive, you're perceptive, you're tender, and you love your children.
Thank you, Charles.
And she takes it. And then I give myself a white chip because I gave her one. You see, I'm building my stack. You see how it goes?
Yes.
And then after I do this to 3 or 4 girls, I say to the girls, would one of you girls like to give somebody else a chip? And they usually say,
Yes.
okay. I'll say, well, who? And you say, well, I'm going to give one to Sally. Okay. I says, you got to say something true, kind, and correct about Sally that's uplifting and
Yes.
benefits her. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, Sally.
Whoa.
Oh,
Never give your chip away, Wanda.
okay.
Ask for another one. Remember, it is grace.
Yes.
You become a conduit for a blessing.
Can I have another chip,
There
Charles?
you go. Don't ask me. Ask the
Or-
source.
Okay. Lord, may I have another chip to
There
give
you
to
go.
Sally?
There you go.
Yeah.
Now then, you give that chip to that person to say something true, kind, and correct.
Yeah. Well, Sally, I would like to say that you've been very supportive of me while you have been here, while I have been here, and you have encouraged me, and you have told me about God and how He loves me and cares for me, and I didn't know that before, and I appreciate it.
Good.
And here's your chip.
Wanda, here's your chip for giving one away.
Oh, double.
You see, you built your stack.
Yeah.
You see how it works.
Yes.
You see the process that it works by taking control of what you do and reaching out to somebody else. What happens? How did it feel when I gave you a chip?
Oh, that felt good.
Well, how did it feel when you gave one away?
That felt good too.
Did it feel better?
To get one or to give one, it's better to give than to receive.
Exactly. Now, where did that come from? Where have I heard that before, you see?
Yeah.
It's one of the truisms in the Bible. It's always
Yes.
there.
Yes.
And people are sometimes astonished by that. And I says, the more you give, the more you get. You see, she got a chip for giving one away. You want to create a big stack. That's
Yeah.
the process.
Both of them feel really, really good though.
Yeah, that's true, and it should be.
Yes, that's right.
But see, that's what Wanda does with her life. She gives white chips to everybody she comes across. I know this about her, okay? I've known you a while, and you're a blessing to me and people that know
Thank you, and you're a blessing to me.
Well, I do what I can.
Yeah.
I do what I can, okay? But that's the process, okay? It's understanding what goes on, understanding what happens, understanding the process, and accepting the fact that you were born with free will,
Yes.
that you have the ability to take control.
Yes.
And it is a conscious choice that you make. I'm going to take control. You cannot do it alone.
Yes. No.
And AA, they call reaching for the higher power. Call it reach for the higher chip. Call it God. Call it what you want. Call it prayer. All these things work.
And you know, Charles, this just reminds me that like when we pour out into people, it seems like we receive new things to pour out. I mean, it's like if it was oil, we pour out the oil, we receive new oil, and it seems like we receive more oil than we had before, and I guess we do, till it comes to where it's overflowing.
Overflowing. My cup runneth over. Where did I hear that?
That's
You see?
right.
You see?
Yeah.
This is the process, okay? This white chip has an unlimited supply. Totally unlimited. This guy is limited.
Yes.
Here's another quickie. Did you know that the devil can't read?
Can't what?
Read.
Read. Oh, okay.
No, he can't. I'll prove it to you.
Okay, do.
Because in the Bible, there's a book called Revelations.
Uh-huh.
If he could read, he would have
Yeah.
read the last chapter. He loses.
Yes.
He loses. Okay. So what's he trying to do? Trying to take down everybody's been with him along the way.
Yes.
That's his goal. It has a mission, has a goal. You see, this one wants something from you.
Yes.
He wants to take from you. He wants your very essence. He wants to control you. He wants your very soul.
Steal, kill, and destroy.
This one wants to give you something. You see the difference?
Yes.
And it exists every day in our lives. The world wants you to think this is the way it's happening. And in actuality, the good will trump the evil
Yes.
in the end.
Definitely.
Everybody needs to know that. Everybody needs to realize that, okay? And it's the process of taking control, changing your beliefs. Changing your beliefs. It's really as basic and as simple as that. There's a lot more to this, and
Yeah.
you can go on forever with the concepts and the theology and going on and on and on forever and get wore out in all lectures and so forth. But I would just simply say stop right there.
Yes.
It is enough. It is enough.
Yeah, and you know, I'm thinking too, Charles, that as we progress in life and we have this new truth, I could take this stack and that sin that's in my life, has been in my life, I simply ask God to forgive me of that sin.
Exactly.
And I forgive myself
Oh, that's a big thing.
for entering into that sin, being really deceived or tricked into that sin because the enemy made me think that if I did that, my life would be better. But my life was not better. And so now I realize that, and I ask the Lord to forgive me of that. I forgive myself, and I add a white chip in its place, which brings healing to my life.
You got it.
Yes, and then I could go and where I've been bruised by someone, I could sit down with them, tell them I forgive them, or just show love to them.
Show love is probably the best
Show
way.
love, yes. Because
A
sometimes,
lot of times that's rejected.
yeah, sometimes if you say I forgive you, it's kind of, well, what did I do wrong? Or those kinds of things, and they have some feelings about that.
It's called turning the other cheek.
Turning the other cheek. So I just go to that person and just say, you know, I just want you to know I love you.
There you go. That's a simple
And then I
thing.
can replace that chip with a white chip. So that bruise or that thing that drew blood is healed and no longer painful in my life.
Okay. One more thing. This is a real tricky one, okay? Susie,
Yes,
I would like you to give yourself a chip.
yes,
But that's extraordinarily difficult
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of these girls. They're humble, they cry, they tear up, they can't do it, okay? Because they've been so damaged and so hurt by all this stuff that's been imposed upon them.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you have to do this.
yes,
You have, even if you just say nothing more than, I'm okay,
yeah,
I'm okay.
yes.
Give yourself a white chip. Why don't you
Yes.
try it?
Okay. Well, Wanda, I love you, and I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna support you through your process.
See?
Well, I would just like to thank you for joining us today on You Make the Difference. And I know this has been very helpful to you because it's been helpful to me. It's been helpful to all the ladies that have seen this presentation in the jail ministry and even in groups that Charles is sharing this with. And so I know you're going to want to get in touch with Charles and have him come and speak to your organization or
I'm
to
wide
your
open.
or to your ministry.
I
And
believe I
thank-
can't keep it unless I give it away.
That's right. And thank you, Charles, for coming today.
Yvonne, it's been my pleasure. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to do this.
It's our pleasure to have you. And we just thank you for watching You Make the Difference. We'll see you next week.
Got a promise from heaven. It's a year of replevin. Got a promise from heaven.